So, all right, we are live. We are live with this impromptu show. Well, not even impromptu, just late for weird technical reasons that I ain't about to explain. But shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit the like button, whether you catching it live or you catching it after it's uploaded. Make sure you hit the like button. We are tackling the subject of that black people and hood conservatives just dropped down. I mean, that black women invent feminism, or the overall part that they played in the earlier parts of it, as well as there's some quotables by Gloria Steinem. There's definitely some quotables by Gloria Steinem where she definitely tips her hat to the level of involvement and facilitating, I should say, or popularizing just the early boots on the ground aspect of the feminist movement that black women played. How they were definitely more supportive of the feminist movement than white women back then. And we're going to talk about that now. We're going to tease out a number of things. So strap on in. I see Sun is hot around the building already. Shout out to you. Appreciate everybody coming in. But let's strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What's going on? What's up, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate those that making it in bright and early before we even got things started. Sun is hot, Rod. JC the Conqueror, Texas Marine says this should be good. JC the Conqueror says checking in. He tapping in. You got to tap in or check in. What is it that you got to do when you go into a hood? When you somebody, is it check in or tap in?
Checking in.
Checking. Okay, yeah, checking. Okay, yeah, got to check in, make sure you're safe and got the protection. So yeah, JC know the routine. Got to check in. Got to check in before you come over here. A Texas Marine in the building says this should be good. Absolutely. Larry Legend says peace, folks. Deadly Raver in the building. Shout out to Deadly Raver. He says, let's see what we've got here. And Gerald Johnson in the building says, yeah, I got played. Now they blaming feminism on black women because they no longer need black women. Yeah, I got played. Now they blaming feminism on black women because they no longer need. Oh, okay. Now I see what you're saying. Okay, you're talking about them. Okay, yeah, gotcha. When you said y'all got played, that threw me off. I thought you were talking about we got played. But they, yeah. Gotcha. Marriage Dropout. That was the last show. I dropped two shorts and a pre-record from that. But yeah, the Marriage Dropout, that was funny. But nobody having as much fun as us. Laughing Dog That looked like SKC. Huh. Anyway, that look like that white baby SKC be pulling up on us with. I still don't know why he be using the picture of that white baby. But anyway,
Nah,
shout out to
you
everybody.
had to be there, bro. There was a whole bit. You know how we be getting into our little trolling bits when we do our stuff, and SKC he played this video. It was funny because it was like a some kind of it was like some kind of experiment, and they used the white baby as an example of like what happens when like different types of communication are involved. So you had one person who was nice and soft and happy, then another person came in the room was kind of like aggressive and you know it was just rough, and the baby was looking like huh, and then he froze it right there and took the picture.
Wow, I've been trying to figure out why you what that white baby got to do anything for a while, but now I know. Now I know, and I'm better for knowing that. I'm better for knowing that. But let's get into the topic. Let's get into the topic. Okay. As I was throwing it out there, it was a article that I was from 5 years ago where it basically the title of it said Gloria Steinem said black women have always been more feminist than white women, and you you sent me some supporting documentation with that a video of her
You know
talking.
I do quick research.
Yeah, yeah. You send me a nice video. Send me a nice video that lined right up with that. So we're gonna be excuse me, trying to get make
I
this thing
found
talk a little
something
bit
else too that I want us to play, and I just
better.
sent the link in the back chat, and it's actually I wish I knew where the full context of this clip came from because apparently it's featuring our good manosphere friend T Hassan, Professor T Hassan Johnson, and he has some words to say about this, and it would definitely add to the show.
It looked like you sent me a clip of Oprah.
It looks like it, but trust me, the audio is just is T Hassan Johnson.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so yeah, I'll pull that up. But let's sort of just set up the premise of what we talking about here before we go to deep diving into things. So black women and feminism. I was going to angle and I asked you a question off the air where I was on the line. That's kind of where I want to start it. Where I asked you a question. Are black women, are they voting Democrat at that high rate that they vote, much higher than white women? Because the clip we showed, they're going to talk about how 59% of white women, married white women, voted for Trump or something like that, something of the sorts. And when it came to black women, it was upwards of 92, 98, however many percent didn't vote for him or whatever. And so the question I'm asking is they the question I ask, are they more or less voting Democrat because they're voting for feminism, or are they voting Democrat because that's just what black people do? Is it just that's the black vote, or is that a feminist leaning vote? And you took it a whole different angle. So we'll tease out either one, rather the angle that you took it or the question that I asked, either way. So you got the floor to set this thing up however you want to set it up, really. So go ahead, you got the mic.
Okay, and shout out to everybody walking in. Please do hit the like button as you come into the room. And what we were talking about in the back chat is basically I took the question on face value. Did black women invent feminism, right? And I'll answer the question directly, no, because feminism technically is Marxism. So I don't quite want to give black women the white man's credit. I'm just not about to do that yet. And the thing is, though, seriously, the thing is, though, right? I will say that what I think happened with feminism is that, in regards to your question about voting Democrat, I think feminism and black were tied together in a very like intimate way that's hard to disentangle now. And then it was attached to the Democrat Party, and so there's like layers of mingling that went on. So over the years, like black women, their black feminism was a part of their blackness, and that black feminism was supported by and exercised through the Democrat establishment. So
Gotcha.
that whole thing is hard to really peel apart. You know, it comes together.
Mm-hmm.
It's a package deal at this point. But what I will say though, as far as like black women creating feminism, what I think happened, even though like I do acknowledge that white women did make efforts to preach feminism to black women. What I think really happened is, and this is what I was saying in the back chat, what I think really happened is that white women didn't introduce feminism to black women 100% per se. What I think they did is maybe play on something that was already in black women, and so what they did is perhaps pull some feminism out of black women as opposed to putting it into them. And I think that might have been what happened here, because I have a clip, not a clip, but I have a quote that I play on my show from time to time, and it's from Sojourner Truth. And this is turn of the century, right when black men got the vote. And basically what she said is, as soon as black men got the vote, Sojourner Truth is out there like, now black women got to get the vote, because if the black man have the vote and the black women don't have the vote, he just going to be over us like the white man was, and things are going to be no different than before. I'm like, whoa, that backstabbing right out the gate. Like, we wasn't even free long. Like, we still had fresh slavery scars. Like, the scab didn't even fall off yet from slavery. And this bitch is like, he gonna do me like the white man. Like, no love, bro. No love from jump. And then, hell, you could even go back to that time period, too, where I remember Brittany Cooper once, she actually blew up this point, and we talked about it a couple of years ago in the Manosphere, how they organized a sex strike back then against black men. Now, black people were essentially Republican back then, so it was like, you niggas better vote Republican. But the point still stands that what they really did was organize a sex strike against the men to, enforce their political will. So this idea that, the black woman has always been your ally and has always had your back in this thing called America because, we both black together, we suffered under the boot together and all that, it's bullshit. I mean, even our oppression was different if you actually go back to, who was doing what during slavery, but I'm not going to go down that road. The idea that I just want to, draw out today is, if black women didn't actually create feminism, is it fair to say that feminism spoke to something that was already maybe innate in the black American woman?
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep. That's a serious quote. That's a serious ass quote right there. To where they to look at black men getting the vote as not an absolute victory. they looked at that from the standpoint of nothing says more that they wouldn't really on the black man's side, or there wasn't the type of unity that you would think of. Like, I can't imagine, let's just take Latino people being, I don't even know what they were doing during that time. I don't fuzzy on the history, but I just can't imagine them, Latino men, getting the vote back when women, because women couldn't vote back then, correct? No woman could vote back then. So I can't imagine Latino men getting the vote and then their women not rejoicing at their men getting some power or influence in the position, in the system. I can't imagine them not rejoicing, but then but looking at it as a halfway bad thing. Like, if we don't get our own vote, if we don't get our own separate power, they're going to rain this terror down on us. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah,
they're going to dry up the coochie.
One time on your show, they're going to dry up the.
They're gonna dry up the coochie. If we don't get that vote, we're not letting them get no coochie. That's pretty much how they was on it.
Now, here's a clip. This is how they say the gender war started. Now, I don't know what this is. I haven't seen this, but I'm going to play this. Hold on, where we at?
Mainstream. And then from there, it's being digested. So now you have women who will not call themselves feminists, who've never read a feminist book, but have feminist talking points coming out of that mainstream culture that really starts with Indashake and Williams and filters through Oprah.
But
so that dynamic creates the snowball.
Hold on, my bad.
That we're still seeing that's rooted.
Well, one thing I wanted to comment on is that whole, and it is a point I've made before, months and months ago. A lot of black women are feminists by default. Like, you don't have to go to any meetings. You don't have to, hit 18 and go off to college like the traditional trope. You don't have to do any of that because of just, and I wouldn't even necessarily say the media per se, although the media does enforce, and it does reinforce and give motivation to it. But I think black culture in general promotes black feminism on a intimate, on the ground, boots on the ground kind of level. So I think a lot of black women are just sort of born into feminism without ever having heard of Gloria Steinem or ever met another, or met a feminist white woman. It's just the world they become.
Yeah, I agree. It's pervasive in the culture to the point to where you don't have to sign up for it. You don't have to go through some little training and learn and read the tenets and jump over a broom or something. No, it's you're fully ingratiated into it. I agree 100%. Electric Agitator is asking the question: do we understand Mexicans are considered white? They don't look white to me. So you got anything to say to that?
I mean, when you eat Mexican food, do you feel like it's white people cooking it?
Yeah, I hate to give an ignorant answer, but that's sort of how I feel. like, like I don't get the Mexicans are white. I saw one study or one little thing where they was taking some data or something, and they lumped white people and Mexicans in together, or Hispanic and Latino or something in together. It was like them over there and then black over there and then Asian somewhere. And I was like, why the hell did they do that? It was only one. And I look at a lot of studies where they normally separate white and Hispanic. It's separated the vast majority of the time. So how are they considered the same? I don't know. Like even the people that talk, in depth about the races, they say it is Negroid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid. They say it's only three. And even then, Hispanics, Latino, Mexicans, basically, they fall under Mongoloid. Like that, like so even by so I don't know where that comes from. My email in the about section. Send me something that basically substantiates the whole idea. Okay, he says the 2010 census has them as white. Yeah, okay. I I don't see it visually. I don't see it
There.
genetically. I don't see it politically. I don't see it socially. I don't see it culturally. I don't see it geographically. I don't
The
see it in
problem,
any
Bernard,
what?
the problem is this, and people get confused between ethnicity and nationality, right? For historical reasons that you would understand immediately, there is a lot of white European DNA floating all through South America, right? It's the
Okay.
historical fact. I don't have to go through a history book to point out why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, Mexico is not an ethnicity, but there are a lot of people who are, ethnically Caucasian by and large, not necessarily like 100% purebred, born in the Alps of Sweden or something like that, but phenotypically they are, essentially Caucasian. And then there are also, Mexicans who are very much, I don't know, like what's the word for it, mestizo or something like that, like the Indian kind of Mexican. Like Salma Hayek doesn't look like every other Mexican. There are Mexicans, and this is something that is relatively true across South America in general. There's a sort of ethnic distinction. There are the light skinned and then the dark skinned people all across South America. So even within one country, you would have technically, quote, white people. But in America, we don't consider it white in the same way because white has a whole nother context here.
All right. Hopefully that answers the eclectic agitator. What is that? Yeah, eclectic agitator. Hopefully that answers your question on our stance or position on that. But all right, getting back into it. Might as well it's short. Might as well just play it from the beginning.
Black feminist talking points to the mainstream. And then from there, it's being digested. So now you have women who will not call themselves feminists, who've never read a feminist book, but have feminist talking points because they're coming out of that mainstream culture that really starts with Indashake and Williams and filters through Oprah. And so that dynamic creates this snowball of Black feminism that we're still seeing that's rooted in what we call an anti-Black misandry, a hatred really of Black men.
Gloria Steinem worked for the CIA while she was in college. She was recruited in college. And she was outed by a feminist group called Red Stockings. Red Stockings blew the lid off of that in the Village Voice.
Mm-hmm.
Black feminist talking points
Hold
to the
up.
mainstream.
You know what's so funny? With a name
So-
like Red Stockings, it wouldn't surprise me if there were like some kind of communist women's group. And then they went to the Village Voice, which is essentially like a gay newspaper. So a lot of the usual suspects in here, gays and communists, everywhere you look.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be funny. But other than the feminism being basically ubiquitous throughout the culture to the point to where a woman doesn't have to sign up for it, so to speak. Other than that point, what else you want to comment on that video before we move on?
No, I think that pretty much says it. We're and what I really want to talk about is Gloria Steinem being in the CIA, amongst other tribes that she also belongs to. Yes, yes, it's true. When I told you the other day, like there's a very intimate relationship between our group and that group when it comes to our social movements. Like their fingerprints are on everything once you start to really look, bro. So yes, Gloria Steinem was a part of the tribe and also got recruited by the CIA. And next thing you know, 65% of black women are feminist or lesbian or lesbian. It's like, how did we magically get here? Who knew?
Yeah, wait, hold on one second. I gotta take a call. Hold on real quick.
All right. But no, that was my main point is that although yes, there is definitely some manipulation going on, some outside influence or whatever. You can obviously point to Gloria Steinem, and it's not just Gloria Steinem. Gloria Steinem is basically a figurehead for a lot of for a movement that is like nameless and faceless. Like she represented an idea that a lot of other people were pushing forward, and what happened, and this is the idea that I've been playing around with, is it the case that they just totally brainwash black women as if black women didn't have their own desires of freedom and breaking away from the man, even though in the black context the man was like her black man? Is it the case that she just was totally hoodwinked and bamboozled by white feminism, or did black women essentially make a deal with the devil? Right? And when you say a deal with the devil, you got to understand when the devil offers you something that you want, right? The devil offers you something that you desire. And so that's what I look at it as. Did you get bamboozled or did you just make a deal with the devil? Because these are two completely different things, right? These are one is almost a position of blamelessness, right? One is a position of innocence, really, and the other is a position of greed and avarice. Like you were lusting for power. And I wonder if that's more the case here. Can we say that, is it fair to say that from a political standpoint, and how, even from a social context, right? Is it fair to say that the American black woman has been always lusting for power ever since we came out of slavery? Soon as black men get the vote, it was like boom, oh, we got to get it too. And it was essentially like a stab in the back the way it was framed against black men, like somehow we are just wholesale abusing you. They literally compared us to the white man, which is wild. It's like, oh, every time a nigga do good, you want to call him the white man. But that's the paradigm, right? Have black men always been up against a counterpart who has secretly been on a quest for power? And I wonder if that can explain feminism and black women's relationship to feminism more than just, we got hoodwinked, we got bamboozled. We didn't land on feminism rock landed on us. Like maybe that's not true. Maybe they were just lusting for power. And now we've gotten to the point where their lust for power is just naked and it's been laid to bear.
Deep. I heard most of what you said because I was taking a call, but we got to talk about that. Damn it, how did you word that? Whenever I think you said when black men do something good, they want to call them. They say, oh, they call him the white man. Did you say
Never
something
call
like
bum
that?
ass niggas coons. You notice that, right?
No.
As soon as niggas start doing good, they want to call them the white man.
So yeah, was that you referring back to when black men got to vote? They they start calling him the white man or something like
Yep.
that. I missed part of what you were saying. I was on the phone.
No, that was the deal though.
Yeah,
Soon as a nigga start doing good, you become like the white man.
yeah,
Which, what does that say about doing good? And what does that say about how you see me?
yeah, yeah. No doubt, no doubt. No, good stuff, man. That was some spot on analysis. You can't. The deal with the devil is normally something that you want. The devil is offering you something good. It just comes with some stuff, but so you take it. You take it anyway. Yeah, like that was perfect. So it's you can't you've duped somebody if they've taken something that they didn't want. Yeah, no, you definitely knocked it out of the park with that one. Definitely knocked it out of the park with that one. Let me get this one ready to go. Now, this is the crux of the show right here, where we really getting into. That's Gloria Steinem, 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend, and I don't know this other chick. All right, let's go. I don't think 50 was really dating her. I just think he hit it a few times. I don't think that was actually his woman. But all right.
One more Facebook Live question. It looks like from Chanel Celestak, who basically is asking about, do you think the women's movement, the modern women's movement today, is more inclusive and has done a better job of being inclusive, or how could it be better?
Well, I think yes, it is more.
Now, isn't that interesting that even in the midst of feminism and feminist movements and this or that, it's like they still crying racism. Like it's like, do you find that odd? Just like, how's racism involved in that? How do they smuggle that in?
Well, the truth about feminism is that it is actually anti-white. Like their main target was always the white man. So it was always going to be this way, basically. Like feminism wants to use whatever leverage it can against the power structure, and the power structure is the white man, basically.
Right. So if the power structure is the white man, and I hate the term the white man, because I don't look at white men as just one big giant man that we bow down to. But anyway, I'll use
Super
the term.
Chad.
But just super Chad.
Yeah,
Super
one big
Chad.
Super Chad.
Yeah. Shout out to John 81101 checking in. Got to check in. Right on, right on. All right, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at with that. Blackwood, to say that it's racism or it's not a lack of inclusion. Like we're trying to bring down Giga Chad, as Emin Perry says. We're trying to bring down Giga Chad. We're trying to take down basically your man. I'm teaming up with you to take down your man, but you're not being as inclusive to me with me while we're trying to take down your or pull power from your man. It's like that's a weird thing to say. That's a weird thing to ask. Or maybe those are just the early seeds of, we need y'all numbers, but we keeping this shit for ourselves. We about getting power from this whole white power structure. Well, I hate the term white supremacy, but we're the white women are basically saying we're pro white supremacy. We just don't like we wish we had a bigger cut of the pie. That's we want a bigger piece of the pie, is what they is that the argument that they're saying white women are saying, or how white women are operating in, and they're saying like no, y'all are excluding us from this pie that y'all trying to take from y'all man. Is that what's going on?
Well, you have to understand, and we're by talking honestly about the creation of feminism. There's another elephant in the room that's always there, and I will say it like this: feminism wasn't created by white people to help white people. Quite the opposite, in fact.
Explain that one.
It was created by the not whites as a mechanism to yeah. That is why the white man is the primary goal.
So you say the not whites, and by the not whites you mean those people who we identify as white until we see them running or owning a record label. Basically, they're white until we see them owning something, and they're like, "Yep, I knew you was Jewish." It's like, It's like, so basically, yeah, that's their, you're saying that's their plot and plan to get everybody else, locking arms with each other, basically, like going, being at source point with each other. That's essentially the argument.
Mazel tov, yes, mazel tov.
Yeah. I don't like this because I came into doing this type of content, sort of ignorant to the small hats, those that we don't speak of, because you might lose the channel. I came into it kind of ignorant to all of that, and now I don't like that I'm far down so many rabbit holes. I don't like that how many roads keep leading back to them. I'm not comfortable with that. But anyway, I'm not comfortable with that. But anyway, let's roll some more of this. Let's roll some more of this.
Hey, one thing, really quick.
Okay.
The modern.
You know the saying, "All roads lead to Rome."
Mhm.
This rabbit hole literally takes you back to Rome. Like, I shit you not.
All right.
It's wild. It is so wild. But let's go.
All right. All right. Hold on. Huh. I'm looking at. Okay, I gotta quit looking at my analytics and shit. Okay. Sorry, gotta focus on the show at hand.
Women's movement today is more inclusive and has done a better job of being inclusive, or how could it be better?
Well, I think yes, it is more inclusive, but I think what we forget is that, I mean, let me put it this way. When Ms. Magazine in 1972 did the first ever national poll about who's, women's opinions on women's issues, all right, and the women's movement, feminist issues, and so on, more than 60% of African-American women supported feminism in general, the issues of equality, and only 30-some% of white women. So what we forget is
that was in, if I've heard her right, she said 1972. Correct?
Yeah.
She said in 1972, 60% of Black women supported feminist issues or women's issues, and only 30% of white women. 30% is like 30% is a non-majority, becoming a non-majority but loud uprising. 60% is a full takeover. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if more than 60% of a group or a population is for something, then that speaks volumes. Like, that really speaks volumes. So
Let me ask you a question. What
go ahead.
year did the Black Panthers get started? Because I know they. All right, so
Same year.
they came around. Yeah, they came around after Malcolm X died. So, like, because they were literally founded on the death of Malcolm X, basically. So, like, by the time the 70s came around, Black women were on a completely different trajectory than white women.
You mean Black women was on a completely different trajectory than Black men?
No. Black women were on a socially different trajectory than white women. Because remember, we like to bring up the stat that the Black community, by percentage, was married at higher rates than even the white community up to a certain point. Basically, up until, like, the Great Society, Lyndon Johnson, and all that, which was like, the 60s, right?
60s, yeah,
And
mid 60s or so.
So a decade goes by, and now you have the 70s, and it's also a decade of, like, social revolution and all this stuff, the hippies and all these little movements happening. It's a little bit of terrorism going on, all kind of stuff happening. And by that point, you get the Black revolutionary movement, which comes along, basically in the early 70s, right? So the Black Panthers, which is heavily militant, heavily Marxist, and when it comes to the women, it's militant feminism. And so the Black women by 72 were on a completely different social trajectory than most white women. This maybe helps to explain those numbers. White women still love their man, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Other than, man, I'm trying to tease it out, because if we look at that 30% versus that 60%, as white women still love their man, even though they had their issues. and we look at that we look at that 30%, only 30% being in favor of feminism, meaning that they love their man despite the issues, and then 60% of black women supporting feminism, meaning that they opposite of love their man, couldn't stand them niggas. If we had to really pin down and explain that, if we had to pin it down and explain that as best we possibly could, if we had to pin it down and explain that, this is too loaded, because somebody could take that all the way back to slavery. Somebody could literally take that all the way back to slavery. But let's try to pin down and explain the why. The why that difference, and is that difference, based strictly off we can't stand them niggas, we don't like them niggas, we don't fuck with y'all, so we supporting feminism at a 60% rate. Let's try to explain that why without going too far back to slavery.
Well, I think Sir Tice, he put up a super chat just now that does kind of answer the question, and I think I would lean on his answer, because I would basically be just doubling down on what I just said earlier, because I think all the upheaval of the 60s, it not only set black women on a different social trajectory from white women, but it split the men and the women apart. And you didn't see the rift then per se, like it was still obvious that the men and women were physically together, but I think that was when the foundation began to crack.
Mm-hmm. I see how and why the Great Society Act would split the women apart, because that's like that forbidden fruit, to deal with the devil, that's offering them something that they want, so they're making the deal with the devil. That part makes sense. That welfare, that's the ability to survive without a man in the house. That's some deal with the devil, forbidden fruit, offering you something that you wanted anyway. But so I get that part, splitting it apart. But when y'all throwing in the riots and all of that stuff, Rust Belt blowing up, like that part, I don't know how that necessarily splits the men and the women up. I'd say I lean more towards just the ability to live without each other just made that separation just happen.
Well, one thing I would ask is, just to clarify the moment, are we also talking about the period of the no man in the house rule, which is a on the ground kind of practical reality of why you don't really need to rely on this dude so much, and that just set a tone going forward. And then also too, the ideology took root firmly at that point. And by ideology, the ideology of feminism, but even underneath that, the ideology of like the revolutionary spirit. Black people in the 60s, that whole flirting with revolution and all that, feminism was baked right into that. So all those black people who wanted to take down the system and take the man down, they put their women in combat boots and they gave them guns and told them to be on the front line with the men. Like, this is something that we created. This was a part of the black movement. So when I bring this up about like the revolutionary women, I point that out to say that a part of the revolution is feminism. A part of black revolution is feminism.
I get that a part of it is feminism. And I think a lot of those guys, even though they walking tough, talking tough, dressed in all black with the afros and got the AK-47 and all of that, they probably were feminists they damn self, talking about the men. I don't necessarily buy or reject the premise on that. Well, I mean, I'm open to be proven otherwise, that the women were, handed guns, put on the front line in combat boots. I don't buy that, even though that there are people that like to point out that the Panthers were 60 or 70% women. Yeah, they were serving kids, they were serving food at the soup kitchen and shit. They were babysitting and doing, they were doing, as far as I understood it, they were doing, womanly community service, or the type of community service that women typically did. But then there were some that was, that were,
what else they were doing? They were teaching. They were sitting around in that girl power circle that they do now, the little college drum, the college drum circle. They were doing that, and then they were spreading the gospel of I don't need no man.
I like how you painted that picture with that college drum circle. I know that.
Yeah. Black women created that shit. We totally own that.
That I know that shit was powerful back then with the good weed that they were smoking back then, and that little
Weed, man, they were
drum in a
shooting dope.
circle.
They were dope heads. Let's be accurate. They was on some harder drugs than weed.
I mean, okay, I'm not an expert on drugs. You know, I found out about watching Wolf of Wall Street. I learned something new about drugs. I mean, I learned something new every day about drugs. Well, not
Oh
every
yeah,
day,
they were
but
coked up on Wall Street. Yeah.
yeah. But either way it goes, I just know the good drugs they were on back in those movements and then that circle with the college drum and all. Yeah. I know that had some power to it. I know that had some power to it. But Azrael, first of his name, that's funny. Feminism, a Eurocentric ideologue used to destabilize the patriarchy of other communities. Therefore, the 50% of white women voting for Trump and Kemp and 50% color purple at 50% color purple. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what you mean by that.
That's
But
a weird thing to throw out there, considering that people generally, from a political standpoint, this happens every like last few elections. They get mad at white women for voting Republican with their husbands, which is a almost purely white woman phenomena. Like I'm sure Asian women probably do it too if they're married, but because it's always depicted as black versus white, white women have a reputation for being more married, and married women vote with their husbands.
yeah, why do they expect white women to not vote white? They are white, but they expect you
This
to.
is why. That's why the trap of feminism is such a weird thing when you really know what you're looking at. That's why, like Acadia says in the chat, it is anti-Eurocentric if you really understand it. Because what you've convinced, like you imagine convincing black girls to not have black babies. How many abortions do they have every year? Infantry skills. Like so, the same thing with white women. Imagine convincing young white women to hate their white families, which is white liberals.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yeah,
idea of feminism is a weapon pointed at anybody who adopts it. Anybody who adopts feminism is a victim of the weapon now.
yeah. Oh man. Boy. Let's see. All right, let's roll some more of this not so beautiful being footage. Let's roll some more of this not so beautiful being footage. Hold on, I'm trying to. Yeah, I think I'm there. It is. I thought I missed. Okay, yeah. Keep in mind also, SCLC, Panthers, King X, etc. These guys weren't even 40. Many still in their 20s. Black revolutionary ideology, I think what he mean, was made basically by kids. Yeah, but they still weren't boomers. That's a throwback joke to OGJ Speed trying to argue that him and the boomers was out there getting hosed down. Well, we ran the
No,
math.
that
We ran
is
the
an
math.
interesting point.
OG was 6 during all that. But anyway, go ahead.
No, that is an interesting point. That era that kind of gets lauded as such a big black movement. It was basically kids were the figureheads of it. So what does that tell you about the actual like leadership? Like the kids weren't coming up with these ideas themselves. They're stupid college kids basically.
Mm. So you're saying that college campus back then was even then effectively radicalizing the young folks?
Oh no, it was always that. I can't mark a point when it happened, but from the '60s on, college radicalization was just a fact of life. That's why it's become this phenomena of like you send your daughter off to school and she comes back a weird feminist who hates her daddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. That's interesting. That's interesting. All right, let's roll some more. Let's roll some more.
Is that disproportionately women of color invented of
Uh-oh.
African American women supported feminism
Let me
in
back up even more.
about who's women's opinions on women's issues, all right, and the women's movement, feminist issues, and so on. More than 60% of African American women supported feminism in general, the issues of equality, and only 30-some% of white women. So what we forget is that disproportionately women of color invented feminism. And that's why.
That's clever. That is a very clever tactic right there. That's an excellent maneuver too.
It was the
You're
word.
giving,
Go ahead.
you're giving all the blame to the women who basically, you approached them with this deal, right? They didn't come to you with this deal. You came to them with this deal, and now you want to blame it all on them.
Well, the clever word in there was they disproportionately created it. She could say they were overrepresented in it, but that doesn't mean creating it. It just means that they are they leaned that way at a higher percentage rate. So it is an interesting thing to try to say that they invented it.
And this is why I say what more than likely happened is that not inventing feminism, but you spoke to something that the black women wanted, and then you just sold them feminism. He's like, you don't want to always have to wait on your man for him to bring you a paycheck. All right, how about this feminism? And I think that's kind of the deal. It was more like, we're going to play on your weaknesses and your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's roll.
And that's why, the image of the movement is, quite askew usually. I mean, it's not really, and that's why people were wrongly surprised about the vote, in this election, because apparently it's not 62%. I understand 59% of white married women voted for Trump, and 98% or 96%, I think, of African American women voted for Hillary Clinton. So it's not about, I think it's condescending of African American women voted for Hillary Clinton, and 98% or 96%, I think, of African American women voted for Hillary Clinton. So
now, just me trying to tease it out even more. How much of that is the vote for feminism versus the hate for the evil white man Donald Trump? I think that's where that comes from.
How do you separate the two? How do you separate the two, honestly, when he came in the game grabbing them by the pussy?
White women didn't mind the pussy grabbing.
But no, but that's my point, though. How do you separate Donald Trump from? How do you separate women's, feminism and their hatred of Trump? They go together.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is the perfect avatar, honestly. Like a rich white man who says things like "grab him by the pussy," like, oh, he's the perfect target for feminism.
Yeah. Understood. All right.
It's not about, I think it's condescending to make the movement inclusive. Women of color are the movement, and they've always been the movement. And in terms of the white married women, the only way I've arrived at explaining why fast is to say that the Chinese did not bind the feet of poor women. They bound the feet of rich women. So if you are
keeping it real, I don't get that quote. It's only 2 seconds.
Where
that was the end of it. I didn't get
that
quote.
Never heard of Chinese foot binding?
I understand the foot binding part, but they said they bound the feet of rich women, not poor women. How does that relate or translate? That went over my head.
Well, if you do it to poor women, nobody cares. If you do it to rich women, all the poor women can see.
Okay.
Women and women respond to that kind of pressure.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing pressure being put on in any type of way to where to where she can make a comparison of white women voting for Trump, voting with their husband. I don't see how she can make that connection to
Yeah, it's
where
a weak
some.
attack.
Yeah, it was a I thought it. I mean, I thought it was a cheap shot like a motherfucker. I was like,
Right.
how did that even how did that even relate? It's
Yeah,
almost
voting
like,
with your husband is like getting your foot binded. Like, right. But this is my
yeah.
point about feminism in general. It's always this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. He said rich women were controlled. And that is her taking that hellified cheap shot, basically saying these married women are controlled. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, feminist it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting dynamic. I do understand what she means to
Yeah, I'm sorry.
some.
Hold on. I just had a crazy thought. We just got to air this out for a
Go ahead,
second.
go ahead. Yeah, by all means.
Do you suppose the reason why Asian men aren't generally into black women is because their feet are too big? Chinese, they like small feet.
Yeah, I think I think that got something that could have something to do with it. It's a number of things. Like we've talked about that quite a bit. On dating apps, the black women are like the least chosen, and every measurable way when the data comes in on it, black women are the least chosen or selected, desired or whatever you want to call it, no matter how you measure it. And the same with Asian men. So there was some black women with the revolutionary idea, Issa Rae, not Lisa Ray, Issa Rae, the one that made the show, whatever the hell that show is called, Insecure. Um, she came up with the idea like, maybe black women and Asian men should get together, and Asian men are they're not interested. they, they're just seemingly not interested. It seemed like you would see more of that, because Asian women come over here. I'm assuming Asian women and Asian men come over here at the same rate, and Asian women marry out to white men at a really high rate, and Asian men, it seemed like it would be a lot of them left dancing when the music stopped. So there is a whole population of single, unpartnered,
I wanna
unmarried black women, but they're like,
I want to do a survey. I want to do a survey. All the black women who actually do have an Asian boyfriend or husband or whatever, are your feet bigger than his? Can you wear his Jordans? Or can he can't fit your shoes, right? Your feet are too big for him. I wonder if that holds true. I just all of a sudden I have a theory. I don't know how to test, but I got to figure this out. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. I bet you all the black women who date Asian men, their feet are equally the same. Like they're like the same size or bigger than their Asian
do
boyfriends. I'm
you do
telling you, it's
you
got to be
have
true.
any evidence that black women have bigger feet? What up, Roastmaster? See you down there. You got any evidence that black women have bigger? I know they got bigger feet than Asian women. Just
In my
like,
mind, I'm picturing the Jordans that Asian dudes be wearing, and I'm picturing the Jordans that black women be wearing, and I think they're about the same.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Proportion wise, black women, the largest women, Asian men are the smallest men. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think that they make hey. I remember you showed me a clip one time of it was a black woman and an Asian guy arguing. It was so funny. It was so funny. I can't even remember what it was about.
Did he slap her?
No, it wasn't one of
Oh,
those hair store clips. It was something else going on there. But shout out to Celine in the building, says an Asian guy was on paternity court who had a baby with a black woman. It was obvious. I mean, it was obviously did. I don't know what you're trying to say right there. She told the judge, I think she mean it was obviously his. She told the judge, he said, "Ooh, you thick," and he's like it's true honor. I was attracted to her thickness. All right, that's what's up. No knocking, no knocking the game if he was attracted to the thickness. No knocking the game right there. But the link is in the chat. Anybody want to come up on this and give their take, thoughts, ideas, or perspective on Black women being more feminist, or Gloria Steinem saying that they've always been more feminist, because it's interesting. She mentioned some magazine that I never heard of called Miss Magazine, which I guess that's a cool name for a woman's
Well,
magazine,
that
Miss
was a part
Magazine.
of her whole CIA history. Like that was what in that clip that I showed you from Tia Johnson. What happened was somebody from another magazine, like what did it say, Red Stocking or something like that, another group called Red Stocking, exposed Gloria Steinem as being a CIA operative. And at the time, Gloria was promoting her magazine. So it's like, oh, so you're in the CIA and you're selling a magazine. Okay, I got you.
Huh. Yeah, and the CIA ain't selling a magazine. Yeah, that's interesting. But either way it goes, be that as it may, that they did that it was found in that magazine, or an article or a study reported or posted, or written in that magazine, I should say, that black women at a oh shit, hold on, I got bad background. Yeah, black women at a 60% rate compared to white women at a 30% rate back in 1972 were rocking with or in favor of the feminist movement or woman movement. Like I would not have expected that big of a gap. Like did you expect that big of a gap when she started talking about it? Did you expect it to be that big of a gap?
I might not have a few years ago, but now, yeah, it doesn't shock me. It kind of fits because we didn't get here overnight. This problem, in Black America, the mating problem, whatever, we didn't just get here, in a day or so. In one generation, this is like 2 or 3 generations deep now. So as you start looking back and you work your way back through history and through different events, it won't surprise me when you pull up the numbers and you start to see that, oh yeah, we were always kind of far apart. Like it goes back quite a ways.
Right. And completely off topic question. Oh shit, I'm yawning. Completely off topic question. Didn't 50 smash Madonna? You got any knowledge of that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the Chelsea Handler, whatever her name was, chick that was in the video we just played. 50 supposedly hit that, but
Yeah, and
not Madonna.
Madonna was way past her prime even back then when 50 was smashing Hollywood chicks. Like
Yeah,
Madonna's, no. Have you seen Madonna
man.
lately? Oh God.
Yeah. She was like soccer momming it up big time back. I mean, by early 2000s, Madonna damn near had grown kids. But anyway, Trader MBD in the building. What's going on? What you got on this?
Hey, what's going on, Manal? What's going on,
What
David?
up?
Um, it's we touched a lot on this, with coming back to Leonard Patterson and Manny Johnson, the communist infiltration of the community, starting around the 1920s. And we know the communists is just, synonymous with small hats, basically. But this whole destabilization of, the black patriarchy was kind of easy. The communists, they understood that you can't build a patriarchy around a social construct. Therefore, they just made, black men, they started to make black men in the 60s synonymous with, you know, effeminate men. They just started to make them more effeminate through the music, through crime, and they just slow rolled it up until the point where we have now, to the
Hold
point
on,
where
wait,
it's
wait, wait.
just
Hold on.
everything
Let's
is,
back up.
go ahead.
Let's back up. In the 60s, how were they making black men more effeminate?
They started with the music, the simping in the music, the Jackie Wilsons, the Sam Cooks, they just all that
Nah,
begging.
come on. It was all kinds of love songs of all genres and races and stuff back
The
then.
begging.
Well, one thing I would add to that, and I don't think it's a music. I wouldn't go there so much. I see what you're getting at because obviously, they run the music too, right? But
Yeah.
what I think really happened is that in the civil rights movement and in the proper civil rights movement, not even getting into the revolutionaries later, right? There were gays all through the movement, bro. Like the Black Revolution, a lot of the spirit of that stuff. When you're in school, I remember this. When I was in school and we talk about like what was it, the Harlem Renaissance, half them niggas was gay, bro. Half of them niggas was gay as hell. And so they always were celebrated and promoted. Like a lot of the gay artists or whatever. Now, back in that moment, their homosexuality wasn't really propped up. It wasn't put out on Front Street. But what you wind up with is this overall cumulative effect of having a lot of black gay people at the forefront or in the middle of these black social movements. So yeah, the black freedom movement was always kind of gay.
And you know that whole, because you hear a lot about the fluidity of the civil rights movement, you know, the inclusiveness, you know,
Mhm.
that talk started going on there. Is whereas, you know, the civil rights movement, along with some people in the chat said the music industry, it was controlled by the same people. You notice how when you start looking at all these civil rights cases, all the white people that gave their lives, there's a funny similarity to the fact that they're not really white people, they're the non-whites.
Yeah, see, Trey, I be learning something new all the time. You said the civil rights movements where white people gave their lives.
Hey,
Yeah.
bro, when I was a
I don't.
kid, I remember, I think it was my mom or my stepdad, or maybe we all went together, but we went to watch the movie Mississippi Burning, and
Yes.
that
Okay,
is a prime example of what you are talking about.
of white people giving their lives
The
during
You
the
can
civil rights
remember,
non-whites,
you
movement.
remember the Freedom Riders, Mikhail Schwärmer, one of the three Freedom
right?
Riders, you know, who has monuments all over Mississippi for him.
Right. So, and from when you want sympathy, it was these white people died fighting for your freedom, but the reality of it is they actually belong to a separate, distinct group.
So it was small hats fighting for the freedom of black people.
Yeah.
All bro, they ran the civil rights movement. They were running the typewriters and printing the newspapers and coming up with the ideas and putting the dates together. When what's the guy's name who wrote Soul on Ice? I forget his name, but he was Eldridge Cleaver.
Cleaver.
Eldridge
Cleaver.
Cleaver.
I got the
A
book.
big
Yep.
part
Eldridge
of
Cleaver.
a big part of that book is him getting promoted to the NAACP. Like he went corporate essentially, right? He got promoted to the offices.
Yeah.
He gets to New York City, and everybody in the office is like not white. They're part of
And,
the tribe.
But if we follow
and
the
you don't
logic, hold
do
on real quick, Trey. If we
okay, my
follow
bad.
that logic all the way home, then it's almost like you're saying, maybe you are saying that they was riding with black people, fighting for freedom. They needed us free so they can use us and control us better.
Right, right.
Yeah. And
Well, well,
that's where the destabilization of the nuclear family comes from, and where this whole trying to get white women not to vote with their husbands. And Acadia said it in the chat that what, you know, the super chat described was not Western European culture, but anti-Western European culture. Because the only thing keeping the small hat lizards themselves from taking power is Western culture, meaning the nuclear family and a whole bunch of based men, because only effeminate men, you know, chasing around a bunch of women, you know, wearing dresses and stuff like that is going to let the downfall of Western society come about.
think of it this way, right? If you want a group of people to act on your behalf, to be like a foot soldier for whatever your ultimate goal is,
Hold on,
right?
I gotta step away. I can still hear you, so I just gotta take one step away. I can still hear you though.
If you want a group of people to act on your behalf and to be as your foot soldiers for whatever your goal is, the last thing you want them to do is have proud men raising strong families with competent children, right? So you chop that tree down before it ever really grows, and that's kind of that's the purpose of feminism in general, no matter where it's aimed. This is why America exports feminism. This is why technically we this is when I was watching us run out of Afghanistan, I was low key, like not even low key, I was openly cheering the Taliban on at that point. We were making jokes about American Taliban and Talibros and all this stuff because what you watched was a country that essentially got invaded by feminism, and then 10, 20 years later the feminism had to leave. And
Yeah.
it's
And
rough, but that's the
they never
truth,
played
that's
that
the
game.
reality.
They never played that game. And I've spoken with over 1,000 freaking Afghanis, Taliban, whatever you want to call them, regardless. Policemen, soldiers, Afghanis, and even the ones that are over here, they all say the same thing in regards to their culture. Whereas, you know, the women are meant to be in a certain place. And there ain't no feminism slipping in there. Ain't no women, you know, getting out of their roles. It's just unheard of. And thankfully, you know, like I said, when people would ask me how I felt about it being over there all them times and fighting in the war, I'm like, yeah, I got the okie doke ran on me. I fell for it.
Yeah. And that's basically what feminism is. It's, you know, it's a giant con. You trick the women to burn your house down, which I'm pretty sure has been an effective military strategy for like eons, right? If you can get her to run in the house and just start throwing fire everywhere, we ain't even got to fight them niggas.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
No, deep stuff.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you got
But
some
no,
big super
why
chat there.
else would America export feminism? Like you got to understand, why would we do that? We export feminism to countries weaker than ours, right? Will these countries ever be strong after we export feminism to them?
Yeah, you look at Libya, and you know, for the lot of the brothers in the chat that, you know, love Obama, like Obama basically set Africa, the continent, back 1,000 years from what Gaddafi had basically was on the cusp of modernizing Africa into, you know, this one African Union with running water, like fertilizing the desert and bringing clean water all over the continent and modernizing the whole continent, like backed on, you know, gold standard. Oh hell no! You know, freaking Barry Hussein, Big Mike, and Hillary had to put an end to that.
How so? How did Obama put an end to the modernizing of his homeland?
Oh, when they
You
took
don't know about
Gaddafi out.
Libya and the gold? Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, they took Gaddafi out.
Libya,
I knew
Gaddafi
that
wanted to.
part. Hold on, wait. I knew that part. I just didn't know that set back the making Africa look like Wakanda. I don't know how that.
Well,
No,
I
that's in
wasn't going to
Kansas,
go
bro.
that
I'm
far.
exaggerating.
I wasn't going that far. what I would say is that exporting feminism to all these poor countries doesn't necessarily. It seems to not make them rich.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could look at that across Africa and pretty much any of the countries, you know, the brown countries where we do this. And it's obvious to me that it's weaponized. You know, feminism is a weapon basically. So yeah, why would you want why would you want people to get strong? It's obvious that it's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Jay Freeman Blackman in the building with a $30 super chat. He says, "Mind blown to the comment of Western family and based men." Mind blown to the comment of Western family and based men. You're basically saying that that's how they keep somebody from growing. I guess the question that I would have, and you know, yeah, I'm not a tinfoil hat guy, so you got to forgive me if sometimes my questions seem too basic on stuff that y'all already sold on.
Mhm.
So okay, if something was going to help Africa get more modernized, what's the reason why Obama would have a problem with that, or was him doing what he did just to Africa not getting modernized as fast as a consequence of that? So like, explain like what's the argument why he would have an issue with that?
Well, one, don't assume that because Obama has a Kenyan father that he is, you know, a good man who cares about the average innocent African. Like, why do we assume these things? So maybe his agenda isn't the same agenda as somebody who actually cares about their country.
What would be anybody's other than somebody who want to make sure that they're the one that's controlling it? I don't know what
You said the key word right there, bro. Control. Obama was controlled. He was selected.
Bernard, I just dropped the link in the back chat, and since we're talking about Africa, I want to pull this up because I have a premise I want to lay out, and it's now we got a couple other people on the panel. This will be fun.
But
I argue that Africa was always a little bit more matriarchal, and that's been a big part of its downfall.
And real quick on the Barry Hussein part, if you listen to his speeches in 06 and 07, he was all about the family. He was all about, you know, sons and fathers. And then the minute 2012 came around where he knew that he couldn't be removed, okay, now it's all about the alphabets. I got y'all my peoples.
All I'm gonna say is this: it's been a good day today. It's been a really good day for me today.
Okay.
Well, some
Twitter.
fresh J's. What you got?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like you about to.
I see the box.
Yes.
Fresh J's.
How the fuck did you hear?
Let's go.
Get the fuck
I was
out
the
of here,
last
bro.
one in line. I was the last one in line when they gave them away.
Bruh.
It was the craziest thing ever. I was the last one. It was the craziest raffle. I lost everywhere. I literally just got back in. I lost everywhere. I lost on sneakers. I lost on Foot Action, Foot Locker. And I went into a store and it was first come, first serve. And I got
Wow.
you can pull it up
Nigga.
on the screen. I'm shy. But that was all I want to say. Never give up. Maybe Nate is right. Maybe little big Nate is right. Maybe hope is actually here.
Yo.
Maybe we might actually win.
You sound like you just completed a quest on Skyrim or something. Like, did you have
Hope alive in the fresh days?
Y'all niggas have no idea, bro. This is like the cop of the year, bro.
Craziest ever.
Yeah, bro. That shit crazy.
Yeah, but feminism is trash. Let me go back to being off screen. So
the clip I got in the background,
Middle Earth to destroy the damn ring or some shit. Like, goddamn. All right, go ahead.
The clip I just sent you, I want you to pull up when you get a chance. But basically, I'm gonna set it up for you. This is an African wedding that never happened because on the wedding day he found out that she had a bunch of kids, and that's not the shock to me. The shock to me is how everybody treated him. That's the just pay attention.
All right.
You can't force me to do anything. No. There's nothing.
Hold on, real quick before we get started. I love hearing African men get mad and go off. That's just the funniest.
Ain't it the best shit, bro?
What? They just be snapping. I don't even know what the fuck they be saying. They just be snapping.
But I told you, I beg. When I don't go
He's taking off his good shoes.
I'm taking my back.
Okay, I don't be able to understand them anyway, but just checking. This is in English, right? Or
there's English mixed in there. You know, they got that African patois where they throw words in English. They got their words in the English. They mix it up, but you can pretty much follow. This is like that movie from it's like Apocalypto, right? You don't really need English to follow the plot here.
I'm joking. Two children. So this why you have children. You wait for me. I beg you. I respected you, but your daughter, I never expected this from your daughter. So all this why you are here. You are here. You are to be your daughter. Oh, you told her. So why she not go offend me? I don't know if she not tell you. She not tell me. Oh, no.
And the whole family trying to lure him into this trap. The whole family is like, no, don't go. You got to stay with her. Be a father to all of her kids. Don't go. Join us.
Yeah. I'm looking for the one nigga in the chat that's like, well, how she look though?
Oh my God. How that ass fat though.
They waiting to see her ass before they decide.
And then look, hold on, real quick. Nick Taylor in the chat, he asked, so where have the kids been hiding all of this time? That's why I thought this video was interesting, because you got the whole family trying to convince him to stay when obviously he been, bamboozled, right? So where have the kids been this whole time? The motherfucker's been babysitting. That's where the kids been. The whole family. They all was in on it, bro.
Hey, there's a dark side to passport bro life that ain't no passport bro ever talked about.
Go ahead and talk about
that shit is real. Because these chicks, remember, they ain't got much to eat, so they'll keep them bodies tight. So you will never know they had a kid.
Mm. I mean, from what I hear, I understand a lot of the passport bros. They ain't really. A lot of them ain't.
Yeah.
Well, okay, a good portion of them is not tripping about the kids and whatnot. Long as you look good and treat them
And
right.
a bigger portion aren't
And
going
them
to
niggas ain't trying to get married.
and they ain't trying to go to Africa. That's the most.
Yeah, they not going to no damn Africa. Only
I'm
place
talking,
niggas
you know,
going to
South
Africa is fucking Ethiopia or goddamn Eritrea or some shit. That's it. That's
yeah,
only
Southeast
that's
Asia.
about that.
I hope
Because
I
it's-
never have to step foot on the continent ever.
I'm with you, patriarchy. Unless
Yeah,
I'm
they
going to
go.
South
You know,
Africa.
you
or
know
Morocco.
they use light skin niggas for medicinal purposes there. So be careful. All right.
This is true, and we use you for medicinal purposes over here.
Oh man, here we go.
You seen
Here
Get
go the
Out?
colorism.
That wasn't based on fantasy, my friend.
Get Out
Stop
was a
it.
Have you heard of
Hey,
that?
you know, hey,
heard of the
and the
Tuskegee?
nigga won. And the nigga won. Remember?
Not in the Tuskegee experiments. They didn't.
The nigga
I'm
won.
having flashbacks to the 80s
All right.
now. Here we go.
I'm messing
Back
with
to
you.
the
I'm messing
80s.
I'm messing with you.
All right, so we ain't going there. You know, it's some niggas who do believe that Get Out was a documentary. But
Oh, it
You know,
was.
it's funny. I
you want me? Hold on, patriarchy.
I love the actor from Get Out, though.
Hey, Bernard, I was just telling wifey. I was just telling wifey the other day how it was a documentary, but it's some serious rabbit hole stuff. I got to email you and tell you about it. But yeah,
I actually like the movie.
Shit,
Like the
man.
movie, actually.
All right, Lad SWAT 1 or something like that. I can't really tell. I don't know why I can't really see. But there are videos of Black Africans being lynched by Arabs after the fall of what is that? Gaddafi, operating Odyssey, Dawn, Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah. When people say Obama brought slavery back, it was in Libya.
Yeah.
Are you trying to get? Is he trying to get my vote now? It's definitely there though. Like in Libya,
You can't vote for him no more, bro.
Unfortunately, right? But fortunately, yeah, bro. It's funny because with Libya, they definitely went ahead and ramped that back up. They ramped that slave trade all the way back up, and a lot of Arab influence in that. So the Arabs have a completely different, our slavery over here was, somewhat more
Don't
humane.
do it.
Oh,
Don't
okay, all right.
I hate when we get to the comparing slavery
They
thing.
castrated, but they castrated their slaves, right?
My master better than your master. He let me keep my balls.
We have massive wars.
No, I don't mind the comparison. I just
Daddy
don't like
versus Al Akbar.
I don't like the it was better over here.
No,
Just
it
say
wasn't
it was
better. No,
But see, okay, here's the deal.
It was worse over there. I'm
At least
Where's
we got
It really was though. No.
Where's the proof of here?
Oh,
We got written
one thing.
documentation saying it was chill here.
Well, one thing I will say, there is no real population of descendants of slavery in Saudi Arabia, even though like that foot train of slaves has like never stopped.
So you saying because they castrate them or what?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. If you're when male slaves got taken to guard the harem, you can't have dudes with erections guarding all your virgins.
This is true. Yeah, the castration was a big time.
I would have stuck something in them out of spite.
Something
was going in them.
You'd have found some kind of way.
I got an appendix somewhere that would have been.
Hold on, Bernard. Are you trying to tell me niggas invented fisting?
Oh wow.
Something they cut my dick off. I'm putting something in a woman.
Like Brittany Griner?
What?
Y'all getting out. Y'all niggas wild, bro.
Okay, all right. Let's
No, I'm saying she doesn't have anything. She doesn't have anything to insert. But go ahead.
Fisting.
All right. Where was we at? Where was Fantastic. I don't know if what prompted you to join. Go ahead. I'll pass the mic to Fantastic. I don't know if it was something in particular that prompted you to join.
No, y'all was talking about the shout out to everybody, man. Y'all talking about the whole Libya thing, and they was getting into it. Like, yeah, man. Gaddafi had Gaddafi and like Saddam Hussein, right? So the whole thing was gold standard. Right? They were trying to get the shit off of fucking uh, Federal Reserve shit or whatever. They, like you said, they was trying to start like a African currency. He's trying to bring all of that shit together. So that's why they had to get him up out of there ASAP, bro. And they got his ass out there. Who did they drag? They dragged him through the streets too, right? I think they dragged Gaddafi through the streets, and they found
Yeah, they sodomized him.
yeah, and they found like he had so much gold or whatever. He had a gold storage like out of this fucking world too, man. So yeah, man, you know, new world order, you know, one world government, elites, all that bullshit. Same old same, but it's legit though, super legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta do some more research on that, because when y'all say they killed him, dragged him through the streets, and castrated him, but then when it started, y'all was saying y'all was pinning it on Obama.
No.
This is how it happened.
You get coups.
I heard Obama had a crush on Gaddafi.
But no, this is how it works. So, but no, what you do is you pay people inside the country to overthrow it, right? They fund them. They give them weapons, they give them money, and all this other stuff. So you never are attached to it, but you're completely and totally responsible for it.
So how do y'all know that Obama
Right, he was the president of the free world, man, and she was Secretary of State.
No,
Benghazi,
this isn't a secret.
all these things.
Hold on, yeah, Benghazi, we were there officially. This isn't a secret. This isn't a conspiracy that we were in Libya.
It's not a conspiracy at all.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. So it was their policy. What people, all right. Does anybody, one of the big events we seem to forget about when we talk about Libya, and this is really what the Obama administration and intelligence community did, and that's why I think some of these social networks are ran by them. Remember the Arab Spring? Remember what the whole point of the Arab Spring was? To overthrow those long-lasting, quote-unquote, dictatorships in the Middle East and make them more liberal. That's what it was about. But when you had the more radical Islamic movements, that would be very hard to do because you're balancing between three things. But the Arab Spring was like the beginning of all that, because they wanted like Mubarak out of Egypt, and you know, they just wanted to mess the Middle East up and destabilize it. So
Gotcha. Going back to what was we talking about, Patriarch? When you took the link, what prompted you to come on up? Was it to
tell you to never give up hope in raffles? To tell you raffles are like life, and raffles are like our elections, actually. But yeah, to have hope. How about that?
So
but I don't like feminism either, though. I can stick to the topic about, you know, what they've done. So
yeah, what you think about that? The black women.
Did they invent feminism? Unfortunately, no. Right?
We know they didn't invent it. That was a provocative title, even though it was a Gloria Steinem quote and a provocative title, because she did say they disproportionately invented it because they were overrepresented in it. Because
it's like the NBA. Black women are like, it's like the NBA. They didn't invent the NBA, but they dominate, and they're the face of the NBA, and that's what feminism is for Black women.
Yeah, definitely. John 81101 in the building says Obama gave a half-hearted apology about it. That's about Gaddafi. That's what you're talking about.
I think that means then instead of when. But yeah, he did speak to it. None of this is conspiracy. It's not like we sent ninjas into Libya.
Yeah, no, that's I plead ignorance to some stuff. I do plead ignorance to some stuff. And when y'all do be talking about the conspiracy, sometimes the actual shit get lumped in, and y'all talk about them equally as if they're all just out in the open. So I got confused.
Well, look, as an amateur conspiracy theorist, my camp has been more right than all three of your mainstream TV channels. So
man, I'm 16-0. I'm 16-0.
No, you're not. No,
hey, remember that conspiracy
tell me when I'm not on with. Tell me when I'm not having it right with.
It ain't a conspiracy theorist that I've ever seen go undefeated.
I'm 16-0.
Remember that conspiracy that somebody ate a bat in China and got sick?
No, I haven't been on that one.
And what's funny is, even within our lifetime, we've seen there's people that have had quote unquote conspiracy theories, like the older people, right? They had all these conspiracy theories about the moon landing and whether or not people were dead and what happened to JFK, but they never got to actually see the conspiracy theory proven right. So in our lifetime, we have.
What do you mean? Stanley Kubrick admitted it on his deathbed, bro.
No, not just that. Like the government's admitting UFOs.
Hold on a second.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about in such a short time from it happening.
Oh no, they have to declassify it, bro.
So let me give you an example. In our lifetime, we've seen the thing that happened after September the 10th, right? And then we seen somebody eating the bat, right? And then we seen somebody overdosing on fentanyl. And it's so funny because I think with the information age, we're able to see faster how much things are BS. For example, the bat eaters, that was a shorter time for a wide scale of people to reject than what happened, the day after September the 10th.
Well, you know why, PSP? Because of pixelation. That's all it is, bro.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we can now.
Well, I think that's also why censorship is such a big deal. Once upon a time, you didn't have to have this full court press kind of censorship. Most people would have never heard your crazy idea anyway. Or most people don't have the capacity to fact check on the spot like we do now. And so the only way to really fight that is to just deperson you. You have to totally deperson that. This is why they killed Kanye's bank, and not just Kanye, but this is the playbook
somebody
in
mute
general.
up. Somebody mute up. Whoever that is.
My bad. That was me.
Yeah, but that's the playbook in general. So it's because the information is so easily accessible, they really have to clamp down on people because it takes almost no time for the conspiracy theorists. If you come up with a conspiracy on Monday, you can have evidence on Sunday.
Yeah, I've noticed them. It's some stuff they clamp down on, some stuff they kind of let it rock. I do remember the precise moment when they clamped down on flat Earth, because I was amused by. I don't believe the Earth is flat, but I was amused by the debate. I like good debate, but then it got to the point where I was like, damn, I can't find a debate on this shit no more. The only thing on here is just a few videos basically showing.
I'll send you all of them.
Okay, yeah, you uploaded them. That's cool. No, I
didn't upload them. I'll show you where to find them on YouTube. They're easily available, but you just got to know where to look.
Well, okay, fair enough. But it got to the point to where it wasn't as easily searched, to put it like that.
So think about it, Bernard. When you're flying close over the target, Kid Icarus rules kick into play. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, or it's misinformation rules. But
okay. That's misinformation is the small hat way of saying everybody I hate is Hitler.
The problem, that's it though. The problem with it is, as long as we have this regime of censorship where you can't really speak honestly, and that's another thing feminism gave us, by the way. Feminism was one of the first tools to come along to really, silence men broadly, because all of a sudden now you can't be your proper masculine chauvinist self. You can't exercise the misogyny that God intended. And feminism was the first weapon against that. And so as long as men are not allowed to speak properly, Jordan Peterson, I think, says this, you speak, when you speak, it's like you're thinking. And if you can't speak freely, you can't really think freely either.
Yeah.
Real quick. Let me shout out everybody. Super chat. Nick Taylor says, BR, I seen the viz that LAPD SWAT talking about. Damn it, I forgot what portion of the conversation we was in when he said that. I mean, when I don't even know what he's referring to at this point. Let me type in the chat what you're referring to, so I can see. But shout out to Nick Taylor, appreciate that. J Speed, well, we get on this shit. J Speed be agreeing. He says the vehicle was struck with U.S. domes. Bernard,
drones,
okay.
Yeah,
drones. Okay. All right. John, shout out to J Speed. Do appreciate you sending super chat. John 81101 Okay, I already read that one. And Jay Freeman, Blackman in the building, he says the conspiracy guys are 16-0 since 2020. All American mainstream media is least trusted on the planet.
You know,
Well,
Bernard, I would say I'm 17-0 like the Dolphins, but I'll just let y'all have that one and just, you know, keep quiet because it causes intense feelings if I say I'm 17-0.
Yeah, and here's the thing you could do if you want to prove that the Earth is flat or prove that it's not flat. That's all you got to do. If we live on a flat plane and the sun is
Don't
in
do
the
it,
sky,
Bernard. Don't do it, Bernard.
Don't do what?
Don't do it.
what?
Don't go there, Bernard. Don't go there, Bernard.
I'm about to tell you how you can prove it.
Don't do it, Bernard. Just let it go.
All right, you don't.
No, let it go.
All you got to do is get in the tallest building, get on top of a skyscraper with a telescope, and then just watch the sun fly away from you, and then watch it come back.
That's perspective, Bernard. But anyway, yeah.
No. If you're watching it with a telescope, you should see it go from light to dark, then back light again without
Bernard,
losing sight of the sun. That's all I'm saying.
Just let it go, Bernard. Walk away, Bernard. Walk away. These debates aren't even fun. Like, we can't even drink Hennessy and sip off of stuff like that. Just let it go, man.
All right. I'll
stay 16-0. I'll stay 16-0.
All right. That flat earth stuff is goofy. But all right. All right. You are never able to prove it. Oh man, let me see. I don't even know how I get dragged into this, but really, here's the thing. When it's like ever since this Kanye and Kyrie stuff happened, it's like everybody has been more open, not necessarily to conspiracy, but just open to, you know, even people that don't even that you know, push back or fight against, you know, the whole concept of white supremacy. Is like everybody, you know, got on that, you know, as a hood conservative will call it, the not white supremacists. And and like once everybody, you know, accept those premises with those that we don't speak of, it's like the floodgates open up when it comes to the controlling powers to be. It's like that. And then once that happens, and then all the conspiracy theories go. So it's like the Kyrie and Kanye thing sort of made everybody lean a little more conspiratorial. That's all I'm saying. That's what I've noticed. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, I was always in that vein anyway. I didn't really need Kanye and Kyrie to kind of wake me up on this because I've been staying up late, going down rabbit holes and discovering things that give you gray hairs and stuff. So I'm well versed in the depths of how dark this world can be, right? What I think is interesting in this time is that it's a lot of people. It's not just the guys like me who kind of do it as a hobby. It's casual now. It's like casual knowledge. Kanye, no, Dave Chappelle, perfect example. Dave Chappelle, his Saturday Night Live skit. Did you even cover that at all, Bernard? Because I know I covered that.
Yeah, I did. I made a pre-record on it. Yeah, it was epic.
Yeah, it really was. If you consider like what he did when he was like, I've been to Hollywood and.
It's a lot of Jews. I mean, a lot.
And then what cracked me up even more is the next day you got all these tweets and all these butthurt people like Dave Chappelle is making anti-Semitism casual. He's making it cool. And I'm like, oh, are people starting to wake up? Are people noticing? And that's what I think is interesting, like the hashtag, the noticing, where like it's not just that. It's not anti-Semitism for one, because it's deeper than just Semitism. It's just this whole organized structure of control. And maybe there is one group of people at the center of it, right? But there really is an organized structure of control. And Black people, for the longest time, we thought we were fighting against that system of control. But as it turns out, we were a part of the beast. We were in the beast pocket the whole time. Like, do you really think Black America would be doing all this violence and all this chaos and we're going to burn down this country and build it anew? Do you really think that shit would get off the ground if you were a threat to the powers that be? Like, no, the powers that be told you to do that shit. They let you run a while. They let you twerk on the policeman's car.
Man, we in lizard people from V territory, man. But go ahead, J Lock.
Yeah,
I
how you
am
guys?
interested to see what J Speed got on this, but go ahead, J Lock. You
How you
got it.
guys doing? Hey, no,
Doing good.
conservatives is definitely hitting the nail on the head. What's his name? What's that Democrat name? George Soros was talking about that long ago. He was talking about that long ago about that. About there was he was like funding the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that. He was all under that stuff. Yeah, you definitely right on that, man. And then also what the whole feminist movement, all that white lady on the left side, she was an agent. She's a CIA agent, and she was meant to break up the family. What I heard, what I read the book and stuff like that, it was meant. This stuff is going around on the internet, on Facebook, man. I mean, not Facebook, on Instagram. Instagram tells more stuff, more details than Facebook. That's why I like Instagram better. But yeah, man, this is all government. This is right. You right, hood. Right about that. And then I'm into conspiracies too. I'm not into the Earth is flat. The Earth is flat thing. Is ridiculous. That's a new generation that's doing that stuff. So we don't know who these people are. So it's art that the wokeism and stuff like that. It's been infiltrated.
Them flat Earth niggas are crazy.
Yeah, it's been infiltrated.
Hell yeah.
What's her name?
Small hats got into that too.
Yeah, they got the liberals up here talking about I'm woke. No, you not. You not freaking nowhere near.
Hey, bro, did you just jump out the window?
Huh?
Hold on,
No, I think that was Trey. That was Trey.
Okay. I was like, it's like you was clear, and then I heard some wind blowing. Okay, okay, my bad. Yeah, go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, so yeah, man. So I'm like, these people are infiltrating the what's the whole meaning of woke? We have to let that stuff go and the people that's like in conspiracies and conscious and stuff like that, man.
They super woke liberals. Yeah, them super woke liberals on that flat Earth stuff is on that BS, man.
Yeah, man, they took that bitch over, man. Who was like, hell no, dude. Like, what the hell's going on?
But the woke conservatives on the flat Earth stuff. I ain't on no BS. It's the liberals.
No, we're not on that bullshit, dude. They like, and then this is the same people like, oh, black woman is God. The woman
hell
is God.
Yeah, you know me.
The woman
you know
is
me.
God. Like,
shit, fuck them dudes, man. And black woman is God, and she queen of Mother Earth. Earth is flat. All that. Hell yeah,
dude. Trust me. I used to be an ex-hotep. I had to like call out on a bullshit. Like, dude, you know they're having a boy, they're licking babies and stuff like that. And stuff.
That's never.
I know Drake.
That's never
an
ex-hotep.
Huh?
Once you've been a hotep, you all be a big one for the rest.
No,
bro.
Listen.
You're recovering, but you still.
Listen, no.
OG, you gotta cut your mic up. It's like OG sound like he calling from slavery, bro. You gotta cut your mic up. You call him from slavery and shit like that. I can turn the sound up.
My mic is low.
Hey, Bernard.
I can hear him good, but I mean,
hey, Bernard, I'm going back to the Queens now. Bernard, the black woman is God now, bro. I'm back. I told you, Hotep to MBD.
yeah, but whatever.
How that sound? It sound a little better.
Yeah, it sounds a little good.
Yeah, you sound good to me. Go ahead, OG. What you got on this one?
Well, you know, this is the only time me, a conservative, get this saying "Kumbaya." We on the same page on this one. But I'm gonna take a little different angle on the feminists was, by black women. Really, the feminists was discovered by white men. They created it. Y'all want to know how?
Yeah, you talking about the Rothschilds, right, OG?
Well, no.
Let him lay it out. Let me lay
it out, all right? Well, the first thing they had to do when they get off the slave ship, they had to reverse the natural order of things. They had to turn the men feminine and docile, and to turn the women stronger. So if you want to understand the first basic training of turning them damn woman into a feminist, it was the white boys. Because actually, they used to let women whip men just to show the women on the plantation that men didn't have no power. So think about that. So the first, being introduced to feminism were breaking the backs of the men and giving the women false security or power.
And
Okay,
Bernard,
do
you
any
calling me a
any?
conspiracy theorist, Bernard?
Oh
Okay.
no, I don't know. OG been on. Yeah, I know. OG.
But no. Think about wait. Nobody.
But hold on, wait. Let's tease this out because again, I learn something new every day talking to you niggas. Okay, have anybody ever heard of that one? That the women,
we
women
heard
had
it.
the whips
I heard of it.
beating the men.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't believe in it as if some kind of
No.
malicious slave story. I think it's just the practical. That's the practicality of that world. Like if you were a slave owner's wife, yeah, you might have whipped the slave at one point. I don't know if there was a giant conspiracy behind it, but yeah.
I heard it. Hold on, wait, real quick. I think I heard it wrong. I thought OG said they had the black women beating
They
the
did.
slaves.
They actually had black.
Well,
men
OG,
and black
but
women.
Anybody ever heard of that?
Here's the thing. Acadia said it in the chat. That's when with these college students in the 60s, these Black Panther movements, they're the ones started talking all this crazy shit. That shit was not spoken before that. All this revisionist history in the 60s, when J Speed was in diapers, probably, is when all this stuff started popping off, saying all this crazy stuff was happening.
No goddamn sips. I had got about 7 years.
No, that's a good point, though. That is a good point.
That's a good point, but it don't mean shit.
No, JC, let me ask the question. Because it's not about you. How come Black America wasn't concerned with slavery until the 60s?
There's a reason.
Did we just discover it?
No, it's not that we just discovered it. We was able to have a voice. Just like men have a voice now. Did we just discover we had a voice?
Hey, JSP, could it be that they were just lied to?
Wait. Oh, we got tired of the bullshit. And we started, speaking on these terms around about 2:15 as far as this space or other space.
JSP.
It wasn't in the back of our head, but when you fighting, when you fighting four-legged dogs by sick on you by two-legged dogs biting your nuts, you ain't got time to be talking about no slavery then. So
okay, but that's great oratorial stuff, J Speed. But here's the reality: it's all being declassified now, and all over Google is releasing. Most of the white people came here after slavery was over, bro.
Oh, wait a minute, bro.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. So who was doing it?
They ain't bring us over here and work for nobody.
Yeah, but who? Okay. So all the black. That's what I'm saying. Most of the white people.
So I mean, it wasn't like they needed.
Come on, you go to my channel if you want to know who were the slave owners. Who were the slave owners, J Speed? If most of the white people, the lizards are letting us know that most of the white people came over after slavery. Who does that mean with the slave owners, J Speed?
It's just like the people from, the people who in these third world countries come over here after we don't broke this motherfucker in. So don't use that as an excuse that there wasn't white people here doing this.
So it was black on black crime, bro. Hey, look, I mean, there was tens of thousands of black slave owners.
There's some reason or other you being light skinned, goddamn, other than goddamn because you were fucking around with some Indians back in the day.
So it was the light skinned people that was buck breaking.
No, what I'm saying is, the reason you got light skin it wasn't because you were fucking other Africans.
Let me ask OG this: do you accept Trey's premise that it was more black slave owners, black slave masters, so to speak? I think that's Trey's premise that black people was owning a lot of slaves back then. Do you?
Okay, let's wait. I would agree along him. Matter of fact, the last slave owners who turned over a slave was a black woman, had over 200 something slaves in South Carolina. But you got to understand why that was. She was getting family members of other family members, and she was buying them up so they wouldn't have to be under the regime of white people. So we try to use it as
J Speed. Where the white slave owners, J Speed?
But I know
was they working? Was they picking cotton? Did they live on the property? I'm just playing.
Wait. Now,
No. Don't drop that. Don't let him off that point. Hold on, J Speed. There's no way you have papers on 200 people and they just my family members or whatever, but now I gotta free them. You don't have to free your family members.
Hey, wait.
No, it doesn't make sense then. You don't free your beloved family members.
No, bro.
They were property.
This is what got the whole Bill Cosby case fucked up. In the time that it was going on, People couldn't understand it in 2020, 18, and 19. Because in that time, when a girl came into a club, she was looking like what you getting down with. So they popped
What's
the
that got
pills.
to do with slavery, JSP?
What I'm trying to say is understanding at the time when it was happening. It don't make sense now, but think about it. If somebody could have had enough money and your family and women who was free, your family went with them like they was goddamn getting a loan for a car. So could you get this family member for me from
Okay,
Malcolm?
JSP. Let me tell you, JSP. Bernard figured this out a couple streams ago that I'm more pro-black than most everybody up here. I hate black people getting the okey doke ran on them because they ain't never getting reparations because they were the majority of the slave owners, bro. And here's the deal:
It was never
if you
majority of the slave owners.
hold up, AJ Speed, hold up, J Speed, give me a minute.
Give
me a minute, J Speed, give me a minute. And right now, if you go around this country, the only monuments you will find to slave owners are that of melanated slave owners. Show me one of a white slave owner. We got parks, we got statues, we got everything named after the black slave owners.
Okay, again, the first majority of slave owners were white. The second, and I'm including Jews in that too. And the second slave owners were Indians.
That's a new one on me.
We were the Indians, JSP.
Not
the $5 Indians out west, JSP.
I'm not talking about
the real ones, JSP.
No, everybody know about the $5.
I'm talking about the real ones, bro. The Seminoles, the Choctaw, the Creek,
Bernard,
the Shinnecock, like ODB. The Shinnecock, bro.
OG trying to ask me a question. Go ahead, OG.
Bernard, did you know the Cherokee Indians had to be forced to turn over their after slavery? They would not turn over their slaves. They had to be forced by the United States government.
Well, it's hard to make niggas let shit go, bro. You know niggas don't like giving shit up.
Hold on. Black people got too many different theories or histories going. Because like Trey just alluded to, some people are telling us, no, we was the Indians. And then I'm hearing the Indians was there and they was owned, they owned black people. And so
Bernard, you can Google it right now as he go do all this jaw wrestling with me right about now. It'll take you no time to find out. This was actually United States code to get the Cherokee Indians to turn loose their slave. And then after they got their treaties and shit, as far as money and everything, what they disowned all people who had any trace of African, and that's all tribes. That's
what
why
African?
When they have the casinos and shit now, all these black people claiming they got
what
Indian
African, bro? What African? Ain't no African, bro. We indigenous, bro. Well, how you gonna make the Cherokee give up their own people? You know what I'm saying? You see the okey doke right there, OG? That's the okey doke, bro.
Hey, Bernard.
That's why y'all ain't never getting reparations, bro.
Hey, Bernard, you know what?
Be proud of it, bro. We ran this shit, bro. We built this shit. Be proud of it. Be proud of it. See, I told you, Bernard. I'm more pro-black than anybody.
All right. I want to hear his question. And I'm shutting it down hard at well, let's just go. I'm shut it down when I shut it down.
Okay, but no, listen to this. See, you remember when you was talking about the new generation with this flat earth theory bullshit? Mm-hmm. Black people, some of this new generation in the mix of the generation behind them is pushing this subject that we were already here. Okay, let's just take that. We was already here.
Nigga, be proud of it, bro. Why you want to be a slave, bro?
Hold on.
OG slave
let him
speed?
make his point.
Okay, my bad.
Let him make his point.
Okay. If we was already here, that's number one. Then when you look at the historically, what happened to the Indians, we are nowhere to be found. All right? I'm not saying we didn't travel, we didn't travel, we didn't trade and stuff like that. But this new generation is trying to say that we was in this massive number right here in North America, and that's a bunch of bullshit. And the Indians will tell you that, the Mexicans will tell you that, and everybody else will tell you that. It's a bunch of bullshit. Because they are so disdained from what happened to us, they coming up with these new fucking things to make themselves feel good.
J-Speed, why can I go to the Library of Congress right now and pull up books with motherfuckers blacker than me and you fighting against, the Americans in the Florida Negro Seminole Wars, bro? It happened, man.
Because Seminole
Why?
women.
Seminoles were what, bro? Say it.
Wait. Seminole
They were
and
black.
Blackfoot Indians was the ones who got
They
fucked,
were
brother.
They were black, bro.
They were the one who got fucked. Do
They
you
were
know
black.
what you do? You know what you do? You take an
They
Indian
weren't
and
African.
you take a slave African and you fuck what you come up with.
No, bro. There were no slave Africans, bro.
Okay,
It just wasn't, bro.
See, Bernard. See, listen to this.
Here's the deal, man. If you want to be a slave, cool, bro. You ain't getting no reparations. Just embrace it.
I'm not looking for no reparation, motherfucker.
Embrace it, bro.
Hey, look, motherfucker, I have made my money in my life. What the fuck?
Boom, there you go. Embrace the fact that we ran this shit, bro. You see my avatar, bro? Anthony Johnson got this shit popping, man. We ran this shit. Jay Speed, we got it popping, bro. God damn, this man deserves a holiday.
Again, sardine and cracker eating motherfucker. I'm telling you, I don't need that shit.
Anthony
you talking
Johnson
about.
deserves a motherfucking holiday.
I don't need that shit.
Put
you
that
talking
shit up.
about. I'm not looking
Why,
for no
bro?
reparation.
You scared to embrace it? That's the point, man.
What?
Niggas want to be weak.
Embrace your
Embrace the
hope,
fact that we
your
ran
lie.
this shit, bro. That we ran this shit. That we built
running
the
it now.
slavery industry.
Hey,
ADOS,
okay,
that's
if
what's
we
up.
Ran it, hey, Bernard, if we ran it, how did we get in this condition?
Because
How
you
we
gave it up to
explain
the
that?
bitch. That's why.
Wait.
Because niggas gave it
How
up
did
to the
you get in
bitch.
this position? If
Feminism.
we ran this motherfucker, how
Niggas
did
gave
we
it
get
up
in
to the
this
bitch.
position?
There you go. Feminism. That's what the stream is all about.
Feminism is this. So your woman whoop your ass so bad. What women? Your woman
Not
whoop
me.
your ass so bad.
Hey, not
that
me.
She beat you down with a
My
white
family
man
never left the patriarchy, bro.
Oh, but I'm
My
just
family
saying,
been a patriarchy
you said
since
feminism
Joe.
is the guy that is into this, right? So you saying that a bunch of black women was able to whoop our ass so bad that we in submission now?
Nigga, you the main one be up here keep caping over all the beef for the queens, bro. I be ghost watching.
You know what?
I be watching you over there.
You know what? I don't have the problem you have. If I want a sandwich, I can get a sandwich. If I want some water, I can get some water.
Bro, I don't get no sandwich. I get sancocho, bro. I get arroz con grandules. I get mangú, bro.
I'm not talking about going overseas and get it. Motherfucker, I can get mine
overseas,
in the USA.
Bro, my wife is following behind me right now, bro. What are you talking about?
I don't have to go across seas to
I'm
get
in
a sandwich.
Texas, bro.
I don't give a fuck where you from. You got more down there than anywhere.
Hey, bro, just embrace it, man. We built this shit, bro.
No, hey, well, once you
Hotep the motherfucking NBD,
if I
goddamn
embrace
it.
what you want me to embrace, then I gotta embrace that our women are kicking our ass, and I'm never gonna embrace
They ain't my women. Shit.
I know they ain't your women because you Indian.
No, my mother's Jamaican. My dad is from Mississippi.
And they got their ass whooped worse than anybody.
Shit. Ain't my ass in McKinney nothing.
What did Jamaican build the
There's no
railroad
R.
at? What did
There
Jamaican
is no
build the
R, bro.
railroad at?
I'm just blown away at the many historical narratives that it's like we got to the point where black people don't even agree on how we got here. And that shit is just
Look
that
here,
shit just
because the
funny to
math
me.
don't math, Bernard. I figured that shit out in grade school that the math don't math, and I'll send you a document, Bernard, that the math.
And why you bring the papers from that grade school? Once you bring the goddamn helmet and the slob rag you read on
the helmet, but J Speed. I know math wasn't in. You didn't get math, J Speed, back in the day. What's
Y'all
up,
just
Bernard?
don't understand it yet.
Trey, so you of your belief or your historical
it's no belief.
scholarship have led you to the conclusion that no black people came over here on slave ships at all. They just made up.
No, that's BS, bro. That's all made up. That's the hijack, bro. That's all a hijack, bro. It ain't possible. It is impossible. We ain't African, man.
Other countries.
We ain't African.
And let me ask you a question. You
don't think? Hold on, wait, hold on. This is my question. So even if you go to Africa, the coastal
they'll tell you we ain't African.
The coastal countries, they got evidence of a slave trade.
No, Bernard. No, they don't, Bernard. That's a hijack, bro. All that stuff has been debunked. There was no deep water ports back then. It was physically impossible. They would have to take little tiny boats from offshore, row in, and get,
And he died. All right.
Now, you can go into literature, and there's the same literature for the Irish. There's the same literature for the Indians. Exact same wording. All that head to toe, stacked 3 levels deep on boats, coming across the Pacific, Atlantic, everything. Same exact doctrine, bro. Who's lying?
You said it's the same
and this
literature
is why,
for the Indians? Hold on, whoa. This was new.
Indians, red dots.
red.
And
The dots, not the feathers. Okay,
yeah,
so the dots have the same thing about what is their shit saying that they got hauled to India,
brought
or they
over,
hauled
brought
somebody
over
to
here.
India.
The Trans-Pacific slave shade. Bro, it's the same exact literature. All they changed was Atlantic to Pacific. And this is why when you start digging into the shit, you're like, okay, none of it, it's all bullshit. So what? Today matters. Tomorrow matters. Let me get this paper. That's it. None of it, none of that past bullshit matters. It's all to make black people mad. And just like conservatives said, let's make the black people mad as possible so they'll go burn down their own neighborhoods. That's it.
And why do they want to do that, Mr. I don't believe in white supremacy?
What white supremacy? Who's the ones telling you to burn down your own neighborhoods? BLM, a bunch of feminists, a bunch of lesbians telling you to go burn down your neighborhood for a crackhead?
Okay, so the they that want us to burn down the communities for the crackhead is the same they that lied to us about slavery. Those are two different days. See, this was you conspiracy theories.
Y'all lump
the days together.
Trey, my brother. You really suck at explaining this stuff. You be going way too hard when you should be doing some professorial type of thing.
Man, you know I don't professorial.
I know, but niggas want to learn. Here's the thing, Bernard, right? Who actually writes these books that you get your information from?
What books? The history books in elementary school?
Well, not just the history books in elementary school, but like these pro-black literature books. Like, what are the publishing houses that make these books possible? Who puts these books out? Who actually circulates this shit? So like Def Jam distributes records. So I can write a book, right? And I can say, yeah, we had all this magical power, but who actually circulates those books to all the Negro masses?
Don't know.
Well,
you know, Bernard. Say it, Bernard. You know
the same people who write your music and the same people who make your movies, dude.
Say their name, Bernard. Say their name.
Okay, so the small hats is behind the conspiratorial plot to make us think that we were enslaved by white people, so we can rebel against them and fight and be at war against them, because it's easy for them to run and control everything when everybody else is fighting against each other.
Loosely speaking. And remember, Hebrews to Negroes, one of the controversial points outside of this whole, we was Hebrews, the other controversial point in that, and the other thing you're not allowed to talk about openly, is how come so many slave owners were, a part of that group. Even though in the black people's mind, when you think slavery, you think a white man, like, Bubba or whatever. But the reality, and when you start looking at who owned the ships, who actually captained the ships, who actually staffed the docks when you had to do the auctions, who ran the auctions, like this whole thing was an in-house operation. But we have been told from the books that we read and the movies that we watch, we have been told who to hate. We have been told who our enemy is. Meanwhile, if you read the actual documents, you'll find something very interesting about these people.
All right. Well, check this out. I ain't even got the screen up, OG, but I hear you just came back, and I got to get out of here. I got to make a hard stop at the 2-hour mark. We'll probably talk about this again. I may try to organize an actual formal debate on some of this, so if people, I probably can't even use Trey in the debate, because I think Hood Server just made a good point. The Trey just swing with a hammer on everything.
I'll chill out though. If it's a formal debate, I'll chill out. It's just I like trolling with this stuff, man, because it's so hard in your face, man.
That's the problem with the trolls.
You can bring the hammer all he want to. You can bring a hammer to a gunfight if you want to.
But let's do a one-on-one, Bernard. Let's do a one-on-one. I'll bring it to you.
I be asking questions trying to learn something, and he just is like, it'd be like so much stuff layered in the middle. He just say the beginning and then the end, and I'm like, no, man, come on, now that ain't sufficiently explaining what it is that you're saying.
But one thing, Bernard, I don't want to Swiss cheese your brain, bro, because it'll ruin every little slave trade reparations fantasy that any black person might have when you get all this dropped on you, when you realize that everything you were taught was a lie.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not that guy who clean going like black people wear slavery around like like it's a neck medallion. Like they
Nah, bro,
showing it off.
everything,
Like,
Bernard.
like bling
Bernard,
bling. Like,
everything.
No,
Have you
I
ever
don't.
been? Let me, Bernard. See, this is one of the things you ask people like this. You know, just like you were doing the flat thing and you were saying the sun and stuff like that. Let me ask this, brother. Have you ever been to Ghana, bro?
Have you been
Fuck
where?
Ghana. Why would I go to Ghana, bro? I'm American.
Come on. We gotta come on. Yes or no? Yes or no?
No, bro. I ain't never been to
Okay,
Ghana.
no. Okay,
bro.
go ahead, OG.
Okay, so Ghana has this door of no return.
I know, bro. Didn't I say that was debunked, bro? I know the door of no return, bro. It's been debunked.
Trey, let's see where he's going, because I'm trying to get off of here.
See, this is what I'm saying. You read about stuff, and you think you know about stuff, but then you don't know enough to go there geographically. And
Chase Speed, you want to be a slave? Just say that.
Y'all never going to come on. OG, just try to make it to the end of your point.
Okay, I'm just making the end of my point. There's so much evidence out there to go totally against what he's saying, and he has the right to say what he's saying. But you know what? Let's have the debate and let's see who can prove.
Oh, are you sure you want to do that, J Speed?
Bro, I ain't never shot away from
I
the
was,
fight, bro.
Show me, bro.
I got both of y'all email. I may set up a debate. Hell, Trey or both of y'all email me what y'all want the topic to be, or whatever.
That is the topic.
We'll set it up.
Africa,
bro, we won't. It's BS, J
I gotta
Speed.
get up out of
I'll
here.
embarrass you, J
That
Speed.
link right there is to pre-record.
No, you
a
embarrass
short.
your family,
The link I just dropped right there. That's a short pre-recorded clip of my last. If you missed my last live show, that's just basically the clip summing it up. Go check that out. Let that be your exit out the door. Don't click on the exit or just click on that video. Let that be your exit out the door. Go check that one out. I just dropped that one today. Do appreciate it if you check it out. Hit the like button and try to watch it to the end, because that helped the algo. Help me out on the algo. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we getting the hell up out of here. Peace. We gone.